Good morning, good morning, good morning, and happy Saturday. I am Kimberly Holmes Ross with Evanston Cradle to Career, where we work with over 40 partner organizations to make sure Evanston is the most equitable place it can be. And we're here this morning with the Advocates for Action 2.0 Community Coffee, bringing you interesting news you can use, resources, all that good stuff. Like every Saturday, we are here, and this morning, we are here with Advocate Candy Corbins. And Candy, we can't wait. You have to excuse me, I am live on location at Gibbs Morrison. So sometimes you might see me with a mask on. Sometimes you might see me swatting a fly. I don't know where it came from, but it's here. But we are here and we are excited. Take a moment to share this video. Facebook family, if you're on yet this morning, share this video and we're gonna have a great show. So I'm gonna give it to you, Candy.
Thank you, Kim. Good morning, everyone. I am so excited to be here today with Jenna Arceneaux and Jennifer Tertulien. We are here to discuss a program that they came up with called the Black Girl Magic Book Club. So without any ado, let's get started. So I would like it if you all could just introduce yourselves, maybe tell us a little bit about how you got started. And we just love to hear from you. So who wants to go first?
I'm going first.
Okay.
My name is Jenevieve Arceneaux, or Jenna Arceneaux. I teach in District 65 at Walker Elementary School. I'm a product of Walker Elementary School and District 65 as a whole. I teach third grade currently, but I've also taught first and fourth, and I've been a teacher for about 13 years.
My name is Jennifer Tertulien. I am also an educator in District 65. I teach third grade at Lincolnwood. I am also a product of District 65. I went through Timber Ridge and then changed to Bessie Rhodes. And I'm just excited to be here this morning.
So guys, how did you guys come up with this idea?
Well, so we were a part of a group called Sprout, which some of you may have heard of, SEED, which is the Seeking Educational Equity and Diversity. It's a program that it's like a professional development program that supports teachers and educators or anyone who has to actually be around children and thinking about themselves as a human and how they show up in the world, learning about themselves and learning about each other, and sort of, not even sort of, like actually change the way that education is. And when we initially did the seed group as a cohort, there were so many of us who were not ready for it to be over. So we begged and begged, and then our seed facilitator, our coach and consultant for the district at the time, Corey Wallace, gave us what we asked for, and created Sprout. I like to call her my equity fairy godmother, because she actually got us started in a lot of these different arenas that we're involved in now. And one of the activities, so Sprout was more action-based than Seed was. And we were charged with the assignment of doing an action research project. And initially we wanted to make a handbook for navigating District 65 as a Black family, or for Black girls in particular. But that became too great of a task, and we had to sort of narrow it down. And we really asked ourselves, like, what did we need as Black girls growing up in District 65 or growing up in Evanston? And we landed on a book club that just featured books about Black girls.
I think that is so amazing. With that being said, maybe you guys can just tell us more about Black Girl Magic Book Club. I think you guys have something prepared.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and get started. Let me just organize myself. Okay. And we can see the screen? Okay. Here we go.
So as we get started, we want to invite you to put yourself in the mindset of your elementary self. Think about yourself as a child, a friend, and a student. While you are in this mindset, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. While I'm asking, consider the answers you have now versus the answers you probably would have had as a child. Which question did you have a quick answer for? Which questions were harder for you to come up with? So the first question, do you like to read? The second, what is your favorite book? The third, what about that book makes you like it? Next one, what genre of books do you like to read? How often are the books that you have to read or the books that you read to your students feature Black girls? Can you name books with a main character that looks like you? Tell us about a time when you imagined yourself as a character in a book. Who is a famous Black woman that you know about? How do you know about them? Are there any books about her? And would you join a book club with books featuring only books with Black girls and women?
We asked several students, third, fourth, and fifth graders, these same questions and conducted interviews with them at our school. And I'm going to share with you their interviews. The video is about 10 minutes long, but take notice at their responses and some of the questions that they were able to answer and some of them that they were not.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Are you gonna read?
Yeah. Yes, I do like to read. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I
What
do.
did you?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Probably Land of Stories or Little Leaders.
What makes you like those books?
Little Leaders, it like shows like how women can be powerful just as men can, and in the stories it shows like how people like deal with problems.
Diary of Wimpy Kid. What makes you like it?
It's funny and it's a graphic novel. I like graphic novels.
I really don't know, but one of them was The Wild Robot.
What about this book makes you like it?
Well, it was like short chapters, but it's sort of like you. It's not like about a human or like an animal. It's more like a robot. It's like the main character is a robot, and I really don't imagine a robot as like a main character, so it changed my mind on that. Save me a seat.
Save me a seat. What about that book makes you like it?
Because it's a character that looks like me. Oh, well, I mostly like Harry Potter. Sometimes I read other books, but I really like Harry Potter.
What makes you like Harry Potter?
Well, I just kind of like that fantasy kind of feeling and all that, magic stuff and all the spells. And yeah, I like fantasy stories a lot, so yeah. My favorite book is Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
What about that book makes you like it?
That she's black and she has black girl magic, and the people who published the books, I liked how they put #BlackGirlMagicNerds, and I really liked that. I think maybe Harry Potter does, and maybe Greg Heffley from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. No.
It's okay, can't.
That's a hard one. What was that book?
Can't think of one?
I think there's a graphic novel called Cypher, and it has a character.
Magic Tree House, Babysitter's Club. That's all I can think of.
What?
Can you repeat the question? Well, usually it's during Black History Month, but usually we read it after it. Like almost never, sometimes, but not too many books. Because since it's Black History Month, we're talking about African American people.
What about in 4th or 3rd grade or 2nd grade?
Well, in 4th grade, we did focus on that too, but I feel like in 2nd grade, it was not really.
What about 3rd?
Yeah, we did. Harriet Tubman.
Okay.
I learned about her when I was in kindergarten, and there is a couple of books that I have read about her.
Okay. Can you think of any other Black women that you know? Famous?
Josephine Baker.
Okay. How do you know about her?
My teacher read a book about Josephine Baker. My teacher, she was in the newspaper.
Are there any other famous women in history? Famous Black women in history that you know about?
I did my biography on Madam C.J. Walker. I did my DRA on Mae Jemison, and everyone knows about Michelle Obama. So,
how do you know about them? Maybe are there books about these women?
Yeah.
Rosa Parks. What's the other one? There's another astronaut. I don't know her name, but she was featured on this Living Earth show. I know a lot of them.
Can you give me a couple of names?
Ruby Bridges, Harriet Tubman, Diana Ross, and Beyonce.
How do you know about them?
I know Beyonce because she makes a lot of music and she's really good at it. I know Ruby Bridges because she was a girl who went into an all-white school. Then she was the only Black in the school. Then I know Deanna Ross because her daughter is in Blackish, and I haven't learned a lot about her, but I know who she is.
Are there books about these women?
There's books about Ruby Bridges.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they have books about Beyonce, but I think Diana Ross might have a book.
Historical fiction.
Like adventures and other stuff.
Realistic fiction.
Manga.
Graphic novels.
Yes. Yeah, I probably would.
Sure.
That would actually be fine. I don't actually care.
They all go on to say yes.
All right, so Kim and Candy, we actually want to invite you for this part of our presentation. So after watching this video, what came up for you? What were some windows? What were some mirrors?
So I felt like when you all asked about what was my favorite book now versus then, both of my favorite books now versus then definitely have Black characters as the main character. But as a child, I was not a fan of reading. I can't say that I am now either, but back then I definitely wasn't a fan of it. But my favorite book was a book called The Circle of Gold. And I remember this was the first book that I ever sat down and like wanted to read and just couldn't get enough of it and was just reading, until I finished it that night. And I, back then I didn't realize that this is the first opportunity that I ever had to read a book with a Black main character. And I never thought about that until, many years passed. And possibly if I had something like Black Girl Magic Book Club, maybe I would have been more interested in reading when I was a child.
Well, I got to tell you, I loved to read. I went to Martin Luther King Jr. Laboratory School, not the lab school, but I went to the original, so I'm an OG. But we had not only SSR, which was the Sustained Silent Reading, we also had a book nook. And that was just like the big deal to be able to go to the book nook and get these books. It was a real innovative place. So we're pretty ahead of our time as far as having different books with characters representing the students that, were in the school at that time. And when you guys asked, what was your favorite book then versus now? It was so easy for me to come up with the then, because as an adult, I have just made it a practice to read African-American authors. I'm very intentional about it. So I have a laundry list. So we don't have time for that. But my favorite book as a child is a book named Stevie. I don't know if you guys have read it. If you haven't, get it for your students. And it's so profound because I didn't even know the profoundness of it until I was an adult. But it's about this little boy who's raised by a single mom. And the mom takes his friend in to take care of him so his mom could work. And he was really upset about it. He's like, oh, I'm so sick of Stevie. You got to come over and eat my cornflakes and blah, 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 blah. And then he unfolds and finds out it's because his mom's working. But then when she got a new shift and Stevie was gone, he was just so sad about it. But it was really about the dynamic of the kind of Black community and how we take care of each other, and how our families become families. So if you haven't got that book, Stevie, get it for your students. It's great. So thank you for asking the question.
So to develop a lifelong love of reading and learning, students have to feel a part of the reading experience. And clearly there was a need, or is a need still, for children of color to be exposed to representation in literature. Students learn best or engage when they're interested in the material that they're learning. And in the case of students' literacy, they improve when reading books when they are reading books that they can relate to, and by recreationally reading outside of school.
Yeah. Do they have book nooks in the schools now? Where kids can kind of purchase books or kind of.
All right, so
we used to. Sorry, we used to have them. I used to have one at my school, but it sort of fell off, especially after COVID and or after being quarantined. Things have had a slow start in getting back up. We have like scholastic book fairs every now and then, and book orders and things like that, but nothing quite like the book nook that you're describing.
So how often do you all meet, and how do you all do it?
So we meet about twice a month. We try to cover like a theme every month when we do meet. So currently we are running it at Lincolnwood, at Walker, and at Oakton. And we usually, like while we were during COVID, it was ran on Zoom, which was a little harder. So we're happy like we're getting started back up with everyone back at school and in person now. And we'll run them in the classrooms after school from about like 3:45 to about 4:45, about 2 Tuesdays a month.
And do you all have like an assigned book that they read? Do they choose the book? How do you all?
So we have a list of about 14 books. So there's 8 to 10, or no, I'm sorry. We have space for about 20 students to participate. We give them a schedule in the beginning and letting them know which books they're going to read for each session. So it's about 7 sessions, and then they read maybe 1 or 2 books for each session. And we've paced them out so that they meet certain themes, like Jennifer was mentioning. So our first one is learning about yourself. Our next one will be taking a deep dive into your roots. So like finding out where your family is from, which is kind of challenging for the Black students who are a part of it. Then we talk about who your family and who your village is. And then the last one is like where you want to go in the future. And we have them do activities along the way, as like, we call them reflection projects. So they'll create poems, maybe about their name, or create a name story. One of the sessions is about your outside appearance, particularly for Black girls who have been taught that they're not as desirable or as beautiful as their white counterparts. So we talk about hair, and we talk about skin, and we talk about our faces, and we give them like a blank outline of their face, and they fill it up with words of positivity and encouragement. And we collect all of these activities at the end, and they sort of collage them into a mural, or we call it our Black Girl Magic Mural. I probably said that wrong.
Mural.
Mural. Because it's a tongue twister. And then they walk away with something that they can hold on to and just kind of remember, who they are when they're faced with challenges. One of the reasons that the club is actually open to all students, as you saw in our video, it's a very diverse group of kids that we worked with. But just in thinking about it, we as Black women know we're magic. it's our job now to tell everybody else. And Black girl stories are everyone's stories. And it's really important for us that people understand who they are so that when it comes to meeting somebody new, they aren't challenged by that or don't have questions that might offend. It's all about learning who you are so that you don't hurt someone else's feelings.
So if someone is watching today and they wanted their child to be able to join the Black Girl Magic Book Club at, you said Oakton, Lincolnwood, and Walker, what do they do?
So we are getting started at Lincolnwood and Walker. So what we have done, we had like a Google form in our website that we sent out to parents that they were able to sign up on, and Oakton, we're still working on getting started. So there's still time at Oakton School to still sign your child up.
Okay, so there's still time, people. We have some people in the audience. Miss Lisa is watching. Thank you, Lisa. Lynn Arsenal's watching, and she said her favorite book was Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. So thank you for sharing that. Miss Wedlow is watching. Carla is watching. So you guys, please spread this on the Black Girl Magic Book Club. I think it's super important to have representation. I was telling you about the book Stevie earlier. I had no idea why I was calling all these people auntie, and they weren't my aunts, but they were, because they were taking care of us. Our village is complex, and it's nice if people, if we understand it, so then people can understand it. Can you give us some book titles?
Yeah, not a problem.
Are you looking for book titles that we're talking about now, or just some of our favorite children's literature books?
I want to hear both. So some stuff you're working on, so some stuff that people can look forward to, or parents can look forward to their kids being able to read. And then, yeah, I'd love to hear your favorites.
Do you want to start, Jennifer?
Yeah, so my favorite, I actually read in 8th grade. And that was like the first time I really saw myself in a book. And that was The Skin I'm In by Sharon G. Flake. And that was like the first time that I read a book, and I'm like, oh, this is me. From my experience, it was similar to Candy's, where like I can really only recall 2 books with characters that look like me through my whole elementary, middle school career. So those really stuck with me.
So one thing that you probably noticed in the video also is that there is a huge need for a Black Boy Joy one. And Jennifer and I are sort of working on that, but we, as Black women, we don't really feel like that's our story to tell. But I have been very intentional now about finding books for Black boys. My favorite right now is called Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky by Kwame Mbalia. It is about, it's a part of this, like a collection of stories. The author, Rick Riordan, who did Percy Jackson, the Percy Jackson series, where he takes like mythology and brings it home to a boy in modern times. He has commissioned a lot of diverse authors to do the same thing for their cultures. And Kwame Mbalia did that for West African and South or Black American folktales and fairy tales and mythology. And I'm really into that one. I'm reading it to my students right now. I really like Bayou Magic by Jewel Parker Rhodes. It takes place in Louisiana, which is where my family is from. And it gets at, I mean, I guess you could say hoodoo, but it also, I'm also one of the fantasy lovers. And we meet Mami Wata, who's, a mermaid who swam over with the ships to protect her people, and how she wants to protect the swamp. And needs the help of a little girl. I also, and just in thinking about students and needing to see themselves, another book that I like to read to my students is When Aiden Became a Brother. And it is a story of a little girl who learned that she was trans and wanted to protect her new baby, or the new baby that's coming into her family, from all of the things that kind of hurt her when she was growing up. So that was another interesting story. There's so many of them, but I think that's a good place to start.
One thing that you all mentioned is that you all have activities following your mural or whatever. Do you all do an activity following each book? And is it always something that they can take home with them when they're done?
So we give them a folder that has like all the activities, like the poems that they work on. So they start with like a name poem, and usually that's paired up with the books. Meet Denitra Brown, or Denitra Brown Class Clown. When Aiden Became a Brother, and Make Ways to Make Sunshine by Renee Watson. And then the next month they move to Where I'm From poem. Then they make like a family crest. Jenna, what did they make after that?
Then we do like a puzzle piece for the different for their village, and they try to figure out how they fit into how each person fits into their life. Then we do the mural, the image, the self-image project. So they don't actually have to do a project each session. It's more like every other session, because we also ask them to provide us with artifacts of their family. Like we ask for a picture when they feel a picture of themselves when they feel like their best self, or a picture of their family, a flag from a country that they have ancestry in. In addition to the projects, though, we also participate in book discussions, because it is a book club.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we ask them straight off is, how does this main character demonstrate Black girl magic? And then we ask them to find evidence in the text of the different Black Lives Matter principles. So like queer affirming, trans affirming, Black women, Black families and villages, like empathy, intergenerational. So we try to find like all the different parts of it, and then also tie it back to activism and how we can make the world better.
You guys are amazing, and this program is amazing. And I wish that they had it in all the schools.
We're working on it.
With that being said, that you guys are working on it, I'd love it if you guys would apply for the community block grants, because they are also available. And I think that this program would be a prime candidate for something. So I don't know if you guys are looking for funding for, I don't know, adding another school, adding more books, adding more supplies for activities, whatever it is. I think you guys will be great candidates. So I urge you to apply.
Thank you.
Applications are open until November 26th, and I'm back in my mask, y'all. We have people now who are in the facility. But ditto, everything Candy said, I think you guys would be great, and it will be a great way for us to help you support this wonderful, wonderful effort. This has been great. I'm here with some Black girls creating some magic in their own Girls Empowerment Summit today. High school girls empower this fly. High school girls empowering junior high school girls. It's going to be a great afternoon, so we'll keep you posted on that. Candy, I'm going to let you close it out, and I'm going to deal with this fly.
Well, if people would like to contact you all, do you guys have like a way to be contacted if anybody had any questions?
I can provide my email address. And then I also can put our website in the chat, if that's okay.
That'd be great.
Okay. Jennifer, will you actually put our email addresses in there, and then
yeah,
get the website up?
And we would just like to thank you guys so much for coming today. And we would also like to thank you for the work that you do in the community, because it's really valid and needed. And I hope that you guys have a great Saturday.
Sorry.
Happy Saturday, everybody. Thank you so much.
And thanks everybody for watching.
Listening to Evanston Cradle to Career Advocates for Action on Radio La Difference. Please stay tuned for Saturday Morning Jam with Mr. Mon. Thank you.
Advocates for Action. You're showing us the way. You're showing us the way.